Welcome back to another video here. So I talked about my strategy for futures trading, and I'm going to share it here again. But I want to go, I already did a video on it, but I want to go more in depth here and just kind of tighten it up a bit, I should say. But before I get into it, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Trading is risky. Most people do lose money. This is simply for educational and entertainment purposes only. I don't make any promises or guarantees that anyone can achieve a specific result. All right, so let's get into it. So just to show you that I did take this trade here based on my strategy and how I trade NQ, you can actually see in this particular PA account with Apex, I am up $472. The target is about 600, and then I'll go ahead and minimize this and show you how I did this here. All right, so this was my entry down here pretty much right after the open. Before I get into why I took it here, I will go ahead and just kind of scroll over this way and then explain it again just briefly here. So all I do is I'm connecting trend lines, and the basics of it is if price is in this area right here, right? I'm looking only for breakouts if we're coming on a downward angle. So I'm looking for breakouts up here. And if price is in here, I'm looking for longs. All right. Same with the other way here. If the trend lines were like this here for the day or how I drew them, then I'm only looking for breakouts down here if we break this trend line. And of course, if price is coming up here to the top of the area, I'm looking for sells right here. So that's it. Now, let me just back up here and I'll show you today's trade execution. You can see here are my trend lines. All right. This is on an upward angle, so I'd be looking for shorts up in this area. All right. And this is on a downward angle, so I was looking for longs down here. Okay. So how do I draw these? And then how do I come up with my entries and what I do here? Now, again, you're more than welcome to take this system and take these ideas here. I just got notification my target was filled. Fantastic. So you can take these ideas and take these strategies here, and then you could just, do what you'd like with them. So I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing here. So let me get into how I draw these up. So the first indicator I have on my chart is this Sessions London New York Asian. All right. All I'm doing is using trend lines and price. I more or less call it price projection. And the only reason I'm using this Sessions London New York Asian sessions indicator is for a visual. That's it. All right. There is a little discretion how I draw the trend lines, but they still are pretty straightforward, and I'm going to go over that right now. So here's what I saw this morning. All right. First and foremost, very important, I don't take any trades with the system until after the 9:35 a.m. or at the earliest on the 9:35 a.m. candle off of the 5-minute charts. My entire analysis is done on the 5-minute charts, and that is it. So let me go ahead and just take a look back here. All right, so this is what I saw here. I'm just going to bar replay just so I can give you an idea how I draw these trend lines and how I move them around. Okay, so I'm going to come back to about 7 o'clock in the morning and just give you an idea how I do this. Okay. All right. So what I'm looking for in this particular area here, right? Do you see this green shaded area? All right. This is where I like to start my trend line. Okay. I start it here. All right. If it makes sense, sometimes, rarely, it makes more sense to drag it back and start it here. All right. But I'm never taking it back to the next green shaded area, which is the previous market session. All right. I'm always trying to start it within this green area. So originally, I had this marked up like this here. Okay, let me just remove these. All right, so you can just get a clear understanding. All right, so I had this here, and it was approximately 7 a.m. Eastern, and then this also looks pretty obvious right here. Okay, all I'm doing is connecting the lows. All right, and if the market shifts down right here like this, if I have a lot of touches, just like this here, all right, if I'm getting a lot of touches off this trend line, and as the market shifts down, I'll move this down. Okay. All right. So as it stands right now, because this trend line is coming up, I'm looking for a breakout trade this way. All right. Only after 9:35 though, not now. All right. And if the market comes up, I'm looking for price to project up in this area for possible shorts. Okay. So as price moves forward, I'll just kind of play it here bar by bar. You can see as we head towards 930, I got to move this down now. Okay. So in this area, I'm still looking for shorts breakout. Why? Because the angle is up here. Okay. If the angle's up here as well, I'm looking for shorts. If the angle's up on the bottom, I'm looking for a breakout sell. All right. Now, as we pushed forward here, we had, I believe we had some news here. Let me just double check here. That dropped this. There we go. All right. So this comes down. It's 8:35 a.m. now. So now I got to take this down here like this. Okay. I got to do this. So what makes sense with these trend lines? Well, I'm connecting this here. All right. I can technically try to connect these two. See this low right there and go like this. I can do that. But for now, this made more sense to me. Okay, so let's just see what happens as we play this out. Now price is dropping. It's 9:15. The New York session hasn't started yet. I'm still dragging this down here to find my low. All right. And I'm totally fine with this as is right now because, let me just get rid of this here. Because now it's starting to make more sense, right? I have a touch here. I have a touch here. This line is starting to make sense to me. So because I had two touches here, I'm good with this line if something rejects off this after the open. If I only had one touch, do you see this here? If I only had one touch, let's just assume it didn't touch, get rid of that. I probably would wait for a rejection after 935 in this area. Now, as I move forward here, as we go forward, you can see 920, 925, and then we get 930. So I got to move this down here now. All right. 935 right here. All right. Blue candle right here. We touch off this line. If you look at this trend line right here, do you see how I'm lining them up with these wicks at the bottom right here? This lines up perfectly down here. A tap, a blue rejection right here, my long position, and stop is subjective. You know, I'm looking at right here at the bottom of the candle. Sometimes I'm going for a static stop here right around 80 ticks, or I should say 20 points. And then I'm targeting 5R, which you just saw it hit live right now in the market here. So that's what I'm doing now. This line I would project further up here so that if price did come all the way back up here, I'm only interested in shorts up here. All right. Now, what if price came down? What if price closed below this, right? What if another candle was made and price closed below down here? Let's just say it closed there, closed here, and then had a strong push back up. I would still take that as a rejection, all right? But if price came down here and stayed below this for more than, say, 5 candle bars after the 5-minute, then no, I wouldn't touch that. Even if it shot back up, I wouldn't touch it. What I would end up doing in that case is I'd probably move this down a little further like this here and maybe reassess it. But typically, I'm looking for that first entry. I'm really not looking for anything after 12 o'clock Eastern. I'm only looking for my trade in that morning opening session or window. And that's how I'm trading this particular strategy. Now, in a previous video, you can go back and check that out. I went over a bunch of examples, but I'll just quickly back up here so you can see some of them really easy. So here's a good example yesterday. And I'll just remove this so I can walk you through this trade yesterday as well. And then this should give you a better idea how you can potentially apply this in your trading. Again, maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing, and I'm not guaranteeing it works for you. I have no idea what kind of trader you are. I have no idea if it will work for you. I'm just sharing what I do. So let's back this up here. Now let's just go bar replay. Let me reset this, and I'll go back to the previous day here so we can just kind of get a sense of what I'm looking at in the morning here. So it's 8 o'clock. Let's go right here, 8 o'clock here on this day. I'm going to get rid of this. All right, so here we are. It's 8:20 a.m. Eastern. All right, so I'm drawing my trend lines. Remember, I'm trying to start in this green shaded area. And what I'm doing is I'm just matching up these highs here. See, this is coming down. All right, so right there, I got to stop. I have to pull this up now because these are making new highs here. All right, let's grab the bottom trend line here. All right, well, that looks good. Let's just go with that right there. Let's just try to get more in the green right here. So there's 2 touches right there. This has more of a downward angle like so. All right. Now let's just play this forward a few candles here We get to 840. I got to move this up like this. All right. So again, because I had all these touches down here, I'm okay with this up here. Move this up. So let's just play it forward so you can see 9 o'clock here Eastern. And then I'm just going to go right up to 9. Let's see. We got 1 touch there, 2 touch here. So I'm projecting this out right now is what I'm doing. All right, 925, 1 more bar over. There's the 930. It comes really close. For me, that's close enough. So if I get a rejection out of this, I'm looking to sell off of this right here. So 1 more candle over. It breaks through. Remember how I talked about if price comes up and then has a sharp break back down into this area? I'm okay with that. So here's what happens. Price does that right there. We get a close. Well, I'm sorry, next candle. Let's just see here. In the first 3 to 5 candles. I know there is one there because I took it. All right, over and right there. I believe this one closes. Let's see. Not quite. 1 more. There we go. All right, so in this area here, I'm looking at something like this here. Let me actually, excuse me, I did this wrong here. See this right here? All right, see how we have this? I have to look for that 935 high. This is up here. Let me just go ahead and put this here right there. All right. I wait for that 935. If you come back over here to this morning, just so you can see it, let me replay this just so we can get back to today so you can see that I did do that. All right, down here. So over here, here is the 9:35 a.m. candle, which is right there. Bang. Right off of that. So I got to get that low. And because we had these 2 touches right there, we reject right off of that. All right, same situation over here. As this was forming, all right, I had to move this up to the 935 high, which is right in this particular case. It's right there, All right, so do you see how this breaks above? We get a sharp close back in. That is my trade right there. And then I'm looking for either my stop above the high there, or I'm looking for a static 20-point stop, depending on the market conditions and really just depending on how I'm feeling. And then I'm looking for a 4 or 5R. Whatever the case may be, money management is crucial. Whether or not I decide to take half off a 2R, move stop to break even, or just wait for the full R, it can vary tremendously and does impact how I trade here. So you can go back to another video on this channel, the previous one before this one, where I go back and I show more examples. But I wanted to kind of really break down here, the specifics of how I enter these trades or how I come up with my trend lines, because they can be very subjective. But again, if you're looking at this green shaded background here, that's where I'm trying to start my trend lines, and I'm only looking back here if it makes sense. All right. So there you have it. This is my strategy. You witnessed it live, me hitting TP on one of my Apex PA accounts right there, a nice 5R. So I hope this video helps. Please remember to go ahead and like and comment and subscribe. Be more than happy to answer any questions you have. And I just want to reiterate, this is just what I'm doing. I'm not guaranteeing it can work for you. Trading is extremely risky. And not many people make it in trading. That is the honest truth. So ultimately, you should consult a professional. And again, this is only for educational and entertainment purposes only. So happy trading, and I wish you much success.